If you're out there all alone, you don't know what to watch now, let me give you an advice: avoid future war. If you want to have some fun, entertainment and some leisure, let me repeat me once again: avoid future war. My life was filled with happiness, good flicks and of joy. I watched this movie without dread or fear. But finding out this movie was quite insane indeed. Now I'm feeling that I want to die, 'cause I have watched Future War, a movie full of ass. This review is about to start. Follow me, Future War. Sorry, by the way, Halloween. I just kind of came up with this stupid little concept a few minutes ago, and I just had to do it. This guy who woke up one morning and he said to himself, I'm going to make a movie that takes advantages of the best aspects of RoboCop, Jurassic Park and the Terminator. And you know, his crack team that he has put in charge of this, and he explains this concept, and you know, they said to him, well, this is a great concept. How much money do we have? 100 millions, $150 million? We have maybe $10,000, and I'm going to spend most of them on empty cardboard boxes, he said. What? Is that how we're going to cover up the fact that we don't have a budget for this one? No, he said. We're basically going to pretend that that problem doesn't even exist. Well, that will probably work. So what's the story about here in Future War? Well, the concept is essentially that the movie starts. It's always essential to start a movie, you know, in a way that doesn't confuse you and makes you curious and excited for what is about to come. Future War, however, it made it so confusing that I was like, what the hell is going on here? Well, because this movie starts, you know, with, you know, a bunch of people running in these tunnels, and then we hear, you know, the first awful voiceover when this woman is saying, well, I met this guy just, you know, 2 days ago, and now I'm running around and I'm shooting dinosaurs and cyborgs. And I was like, what's going on here? And then we get to see this, you know, title sequence where we have this animated spaceship that is flying around, where we're also informed of that, you know, the Earth has been taken over by cyborgs that is using these dinosaurs as trackers to hunt down humanity, and that humanity is now, you know, enslaved or something like that. It isn't that important because I don't know if they actually understand what the concept of this movie is, because is this something that will happen in the future, or has it already happened? Because, you know, one of the slaves has apparently escaped and, you know, is running away from, you know, the cyborgs and the dinosaurs and stuff like that. And then he's hit by a car, and this woman takes him into his house, you know, because he's wounded. And this woman, you know, is living in, you know, present time California, and she doesn't know whether or not she wants to, you know, become a nun. Wait, what? Yeah, this nun thing will, you know, be a pretty integral part of this story for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so this is present day, but there are still these dinosaurs and cyborgs that is running around here and causing all sorts of chaos and mayhem. So have they just arrived? Is this how it starts, or is this something that happened in another world? Or if he was sent back, you know, into the past to be able to stop this? What? It's so confusing. I didn't understand a single thing about this thing. Anyway, when, you know, the attacks continues, and when the threat is, you know, growing even stronger, you know, our fearless escaped slave, together with a group of a ragtag bunch of concerned citizens, they go out and try to stop this menace to humanity or something like that. And then they try to take on the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs are fairly easy dispatched. By the way, before I forget it, these horrendously awful looking dinosaurs do also have very convenient self-destructive collars around their necks, so that when they are hit and they're about to die, they just disappears, because I guess they didn't have enough money to make dead dinosaurs looks good, but disappearing dinosaurs, that's fine. Jesus Christ. And that was pretty underwhelming. But we also have these cyborgs that have, you know, this Robocop / Predator vision kind of thing that makes them be unable to see people hiding behind empty boxes. There's a lot of boxes in this movie. Boxes that people are thrown into, boxes that people hide behind, boxes that people throws at other people, or cyborgs. I am not at all concerned about, you know, these people or humanity or stuff like that, but I am concerned about what's gonna happen to these boxes. Those boxes have families too, man. Were they sponsored by, you know, some empty box maker or something like that? It was very, very confusing and it looked horrible. The action sequences in this movie are so bad that even horrendously awful Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme movies look like fucking Terminator 2 in comparison to this thing. And the acting was so atrociously awful. And you know, the inner monologue she has about, you know, her becoming a nun, or, you know, the friend she had that died in, you know, an overdose. It is so unbelievably bad that you're thinking to yourself, is this bad on purpose? Are they trying to make the worst movie of all time? If they are trying that, they almost succeeded, because this is horrendously boring. This is horrendously ugly looking. There are nothing here that will hook you in. The story makes zero sense. The action sequences are atrocious. The production value is so horrible, considering that they have an ultra high concept with an ultra low budget. When those things meet, it is never a good thing. Even a really terrible Asylum movie wouldn't be as atrociously awful as this. The only positive thing that I can think of, if I'm really trying to find something good here, is that the ending at least kind of, you know, ties up the loose ends, and at least we have stuff happening every once in a while. It isn't so boring that I wanted to go to sleep while this movie was going on, but it was not far from it. This is a horrendously awful movie with almost zero upsides to it. The concept isn't bad, but it has been done many times before, and it has been 100 times better. The acting is so bad that even, you know, Deathstalker 2 always looks like a Godfather in comparison, and, you know, compared to that, at least Deathstalker 2 was at least a movie that was, you know, unintentionally hilarious. This movie isn't even unintentionally hilarious. It is just bad. If you have any chance whatsoever of not seeing that, I would strongly advise you to absolutely never ever watch this movie again, as long as you shall live. You have been warned. Future War is horrible. Future War is one of the worst action sci-fi movies I have ever seen. I gave this movie 3 points. This is so awful that, you know, really terrible action sci-fi movies that was made at the time, like, you know, Supernova or Wing Commander, feel like they are, you know, Star Wars in comparison. This movie was a rough watch. It is a movie that is going to take a lot of you to get through the entire thing, and it is not a rewarding experience. It is just terrible. So what do you think about Future War? Have you seen it, and do you think it is as awful as I think it is? Comment below, and I'll see you next time from Well So, instead of reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.